Welcome to Oasis Valley, Colorado, the mega project led by Jane Sumner to build a centrally located, family-oriented amusement park to rival the big ones on the East and West Coast. 10 years after it began, the project faltered. Jane vanished. To this day, no one knows what happened. Was she abducted and killed, or did she simply run away from her daily burdens? Her disappearance changed the course of the city. Without her vision, construction stalled. The park was never completely abandoned. It just never seemed to get anywhere. It was plagued with all types of problems, and the locals began to believe that it would never be finished. But strangely, the city continued to grow. Almost 20 years have passed since then, and a new group has come to town, eager to reimagine the dream of a park that will draw in visitors from all over the world. Hi, we're just a few seconds away from getting started with Session 0 of our Bumps in the Dark game. Before we do that, I wanted to let you know that today, we'll be building the connections between the characters, the groups, and the locations using the Decuma card system. It's a mini game all by itself. And with that, let's get going. All right. So I think just for our sake, we'll go ahead and introduce ourselves and whatever you want to say about yourself and about your character. Everyone has gone through and actually started creating their character and has a pretty good idea what their characters are at this point. Is that correct? Got thumbs up? Yeah. Perfect. All right. So I'll introduce myself first. I'm Keith. I'll be the GM for this session and all the sessions going forward. And I'll be running the games and making up the rules as we go because I probably won't remember them as we need them, but I'll do my best. And who would like to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
Oh,
howdy. I was going to say we can go in order from like bottom to top.
Works for me. Howdy, I'm Ben. I'll be playing Roy Taylor tonight. Character sentence 2.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us about your character.
All right, then. I am the bodyguard to a wonderful boss, Mr. Knox. That is totally not preemptive and me being hopeful.
All right. Okay, and who wants to go next?
I'll volunteer as tribute.
Okay.
That's fine. So I'm Diana, also known as Insomniac Dreams because I only have 2 modes. I have sleep for a week and sleep is for the week. And so one of those is going to be going on. I'll be playing Amaya. She is a charming adept who focuses on mind over matter. So far, I'm still finding her voice, so her accent may fluctuate tonight. It'll be fine.
Okay.
But yeah. As far as me, there may be some intrusions from a German Shepherd, although she went to sleep, so we're gonna assume she's gonna stay that way. But yeah, that's it.
Cool. All right.
I'll go intrusion.
All right. You want to go next, sir?
Yeah, I'll go next. My name's Kyler, also known as Amandiel. I will be playing Tyrell, who is a graceful warrior who needs no weapons magically. He is a down-to-earth kind of guy who likes to look out for his community, and he has a very high interest in supernatural. So we'll see where that leads him.
Perfect. And I think that leaves us back down to just one more. So Duncan, Devore.
I am Davor. I am Duncan Knox, a skeptical speaker who entertains. I am an owner of a security company, and I envisioned that he had recently a small contract to do some security for some sort of agency where I saw something maybe I wasn't supposed to see, and that has got me a little bit worried and skeptical, which is why I hired myself a bodyguard, and I'm keeping someone there to keep me safe.
Good. Cool. So our goal for today is we're going to go over Session 0, which is really going to be building up our characters in the world around us, and then possibly get into some gaming as well with this as well. So first of all, on the back, on your character sheets, there is a bio section, and in there were a couple questions about relationships. Do you guys all see those?
Yes.
Perfect. And you had a chance to review those as well, kind of figure out which ones kind of fit you and what you're going to go with. All right. So what I'm going to do is also on Roll20, because we're using Roll20 for everything. You see there are some decks of cards.
Yep.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw one of those cards out, and it's going to be a group card. So let me go ahead and draw that and drop it out here. All right. And that card is there's someone who everyone in our group dislikes. Who is that person? We're not going to answer that yet, but I want you to keep that I'm going to keep that up on the screen. And this is somebody in the town, somebody in the community, somebody, somebody we all know that we don't like. And when we get around, we're going to go through all your relationships at least once, and then when we're done, we're going to look at that question and see if we come up with an answer for it. All right. Does that make sense to everybody?
All right. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. So for the most part, I will refer to everyone by their character name from this point forward, but sometimes I'll go back to your real name as well. But I'm going to go to Duncan first. And Duncan, on your character sheet, you have a couple of relationships there. Do you want to pick one of those and tell us a little bit about it? Who do you think you have a relationship with?
I think a little bit of low-hanging fruit. Roy or Mr. Teller and myself are working together. I am trying to understand a little bit more about what I saw and kind of what is going on. I am keeping it a little bit close to myself. Like even in our interview, I gave like hypotheticals, like if Dracula existed, would you be able to protect me? Kind of like a light humored, because I'm not sure exactly who I should be telling these things. So,
For the record, I said that I would not win the fight, but I would survive.
Great. And Duncan, you said you have a security agency. Does your security agency have a name?
I was thinking of it's a little tacky, but Fort Knox.
Perfect.
Hey.
Love it.
Fort Knox Security. That's fantastic. Okay, cool. And then I think we're going to go to Roy next because your name was mentioned. So
It was indeed.
So what about your relationship?
So I was going to do the same thing. I still am.
Okay.
But there was a specific one of the ones that stood out to me. You go to blank when something has to be done right the first time. So for whatever reason, I wanted to apply that to Mr. Knox there, Duncan. I just haven't quite decided how that like fits when I'm the one being hired.
Have you heard about his does he have a reputation in the community? Like, have you heard about him in some context?
That could be, yeah. Maybe his business, the security business that he is a part of, does incredibly well. And I was just like, the doors are already locked, the cameras are already on. This is going to be the easiest bodyguarding job ever. This dude's like already surveillance whenever he's in his own building. He's fine. But when I am out working with him, he's also knowing what to look for. He's already well aware of the danger. So again, makes bodyguarding a little easier. It's not like babysitting a kid.
And what's this office look like for you guys? Are we talking like, are you like in a boathouse, a trailer? Do you have a storefront?
I think that'd be up to the boss.
I was thinking of like, one section in like a strip mall, like nothing big, just like, whatever that looks like, 1,000 square foot, like that's a lot. Just like any kind of like a strip mall, and just like one unit.
Like half of the building or half of the shop is like the show floor, and the other half is like everybody's actual business area.
Yeah, gear and lockers and whatever, what have you.
Cool.
So
All right.
I do not have my own security office. Then I am disappointed. I've taken over the janitor's closet.
I guess you stand at the door.
Uh,
All right. And Tyrell, what about you? You have a relationship?
Yes. I knew and trusted Amaya before joining the group, and we actually met in a music hall.
A music hall?
Yeah.
So tell me about the music hall.
So as I said earlier, Tyrell is a graceful warrior, so he may or may not dabble in the performing arts, and he was actually performing on stage, and then there was a bit of a ruckus after the show, and he wanted to help out, and it's been history ever since.
Sounds great. And Amaya, what about you? What's your relationship?
In a similar vein, because we decided to go through that one, I picked that he reaffirms everything that I believe in, that we share ideals, and it's either really good or really bad. Like it's either two great minds think alike, or two sides of the same what is it? Two halves of a whole idiot. Like
That makes me think of something.
Okay. Okay. I don't think I've heard that phrase before.
I don't even
It's an
remember where I
oldie but a
got
good.
that.
Yeah,
It's fairly on
it
here.
is. I'm gonna get it on a T-shirt though.
It's season 1 of Fairly Odd Parents, my favorite
it?
episode.
Is it?
Yes.
Aww.
Oh, all right. So the relationship questions and also the group question we're asking all came from the Decuma system, which I really like. I've been using it for my games for quite a while, and I always for the relationships, I always just randomly pick relationships and give you guys so you can pick from the pile from it. Because some of the relationships are kind of romantic or kind of adversarial, and I kind of strip those out. But for the groups and the locations, I think they're pretty universal for everything. So I just have a deck of cards. We're going to go with that. And we're going to go back to our group question. And the first one is, there's someone who everyone in your group dislikes. Who is that person? Who do you all dislike?
Can I make a suggestion?
That's why we're here.
So the idea with the town was that it was supposed to kind of revolve around like an amusement park or something.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the town. So because we know
I was thinking, I personally, like, I know it's a little dark, but I think I like the idea that it failed, and maybe it's the start of like a lot of the supernatural stuff in town, like the rumors, the ideas of stuff being cursed kind of flowed there from, people disappearing during tours, workers are always getting injured, stuff like that. But for whatever reason, it's still like integral to the town. People, even though it's shut down, still love it.
Yeah.
There's now some new tycoon coming through town. He wants to overhaul it. He's trying to buy up maybe like local businesses around it to expand. And just as rich as he is, this guy is just sleazy.
Does that work for you
I
guys?
wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that at all.
That sounds good to me too. So, okay, what's the sleazy guy's name?
I need it to be the third, and then just something very obnoxious before that.
What
Like,
about Chester the Third?
like
Okay.
Chester William Bennington the Third.
We got it. Chester William Bennington.
I like that Ben ended up in his name.
Yeah. We apologize to anyone who's actually named Chester William Bennington. All right.
Well, it's a third.
We've alienated that one viewer.
Yeah.
Not the second, just the third.
The town we're in is, in my thought, you guys can make any adjustments you want to hear, is that we're outside of Denver, somewhere outside Denver, and like we're in an Earth-like world, very similar, but don't go and look at the map on Denver and say, oh, this geography doesn't work right, because it's not going to work right. we're gonna be dropping stuff into places that probably don't exist. So there might be mountains that don't exist in the real world, but we put over there just because it'll be cool for us. But so the town is Oasis Valley. It was bought up almost 30 years ago. A lot of the land was bought up a little bit because someone had the idea of, I'm going to do a central United States theme park, kind of like they were going to do for Disney World in Florida. But as Ben had suggested, maybe it didn't quite take off the way they expected to. There are some problems associated with it, financial issues, other things going on with it. It's not been the success and hasn't had that opening that they're looking for yet. But it's a growing community. That brought in a lot of businesses. That project brought in a lot of activity, and the town has grown up around it. And even though it hasn't been successful, it has created a community that is thriving and building around it. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of that card.
Goodbye, Chester.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull another group card. I'm going to throw it out here because we're going to ask another one. This is the one that I think we're all wondering ourselves. How did our group first meet and what went well? Now, one of the things I love about the Decuma system is because they're tarot cards, and one side means one thing and one side means the other. So this was like, how do we meet our group and what went well? Whereas if the card came up the other way, it would have been, how did our group meet and what went wrong? Completely different messages going with it. So we're going to go back to that in a second. Now, this is going to be a little different for us. Instead of going off the relationship cards, I would like you to draw from the location card. So each person go ahead and draw from the location card. And that's the one that has the haunted house on it when you're looking at roll 20. Perfect. Okay. Who drew that? Who drew that one? 3.
I did.
All right. Cool. You're perfect. You're going to ask. You get to ask your question first.
Which event or holiday is celebrated more than any other in our location?
President's Day.
I was gonna say 420 because it's Colorado.
As much as I appreciate that.
That's probably not the best answer, but that was the first thing that came to mind.
I was gonna say, I was leaning towards Halloween, just with the nature of the closed down park. It brings in, like people that are into like hauntings. You get lots of like paranormal activity people.
What if during Halloween, like, it's obviously not legal, the cops are going to tell you no, the city's like, this, we don't encourage this, but people do haunted tours through the failed theme park.
Yeah. And everyone just kind of turns a blind eye.
Or there's like an annual high school senior party that definitely never happens, but always happens.
In the theme
if
park?
It's like, yeah, because like if it's a tour, then you have to like sell tickets. But if it's a party, that happens every year, and people just show up.
I like that. So we have like the high school has like their senior night or whatever on Halloween, and they organize a party and they do it in part of the theme park that's not actively being used or worked on or under development.
And maybe that's even like a point of contention with this Chester coming in, that they're going to lose that tradition.
Yeah, they're ruining the tradition.
Like I said, the town loves this theme park, even though it's really not going well.
It still brings tourism.
Right. And that still counts as
abandon is just a state of mind.
We're like right next to Denver. There's going to be somebody bored of bar hopping at some point.
It reminds me of that Fitness and Ferb episode where they go to the old abandoned amusement park. Okay, cool. All right, so that was Duncan. So we're going to switch it up. Amaya, go ahead and draw a card.
I thought I did. Did I not do it right?
I see a card now.
Okay.
Something is censored. Oh, go ahead. I'll let you read it.
It's upside down. How do I know if it's upside down or right side up?
You want to read the one the one that's you can read. So the top side, the top side is the one you're going to read. So the card came up upside down.
You think that would be self-explanatory? Something is censored in our location. Why is it censored? Oh, what is censored and why?
Yep.
I need my glasses.
Yep.
What is censored and why?
Yeah. Something is censored in our location. What is censored and why?
Okay. When we're saying like censored, do we mean like blurred out or like you can't say a word?
Could be something like you can't say a word. It could be like Footloose. There's no dancing allowed in town. Yeah.
Oh no, not Footloose.
Maybe.
Oh, you can't have a Ouija board in town would be nice. Like they're strictly banned from town.
Okay.
Maybe like a lot of paranormal stuff. Like not all of it, but like most of it. Like you can't have no Ouija board, no crystal balls.
Why? Why would that be banned?
What happened? It was almost a similar situation with what was happening right now with, people coming in after the location like Chester is to buy things up, but it was a bunch of like strange paranormal people and they were like just way too into like all of the bad things that had happened there. They were trying to like snatch up businesses and housing and whatnot to almost kind of profit off of the things
So you're thinking like
that
of
go so well.
like Roswell, where everyone goes to Roswell to see the aliens, but instead of embracing that, they're saying, "Oh no, we can't have these people coming into town. We have to stop it."
Yeah.
Right.
And I like the idea of like someone like I like the idea of like, okay, so they had too many families move in with too many like occult items and then like a kid went missing, or like that's why the theme park is shut down because the owner magically disappeared.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Now, that being the case, what is that? I know Tyrell had talked about Mama Louisa's house. Does that mean that
Yeah.
that is more of like an underground, like a speakeasy?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
The spooky
I think that would be very interesting to have like this little hole in the wall, like be this really really detailed and thematic bookstore, and you have to know the secret knock to get in, and it's the tried and true cheesy knock that everyone knows.
Shave and a haircut.
Uh,
So-
I mean, that really works out too, because like that now becomes our number one person to visit when stuff gets spooky and we don't know what we're dealing with.
Yeah. I also like that idea because then like if the town is haunted and it's like everyone embraces that it's haunted, then like you can kind of get away with doing more like out in the open paranormal stuff. But if everyone's like, oh no, paranormal, then you have to like kind of play like if you were in the Crucible.
except for Halloween, which is everyone goes crazy on Halloween because they have that as that release valve for them, and it's almost like the Persian night for the supernatural.
Right.
So cool. I like that all this coming together. Oh, so I'm thinking going back to Halloween. So Duncan, what's the name of the high school that the students go to? Is it something easy like Oasis Valley High School, or is it going to be like named after somebody?
Asper High.
I was gonna say like not blossom, but like something floral, like
Cactus?
Desert Rose High.
Desert Rose High.
That's Rose.
Desert Rose High. Perfect. All right. And we have Mama Louisa's place. And let's see who's next. I think Ben, we'll go to you next. Draw a card. I'm gonna delete the
Alrighty.
card off the table here and pull another one up.
Alrighty. Well, let's go see. Oop. There we are. Some people in our location are superstitious. What do their beliefs? What do they believe brings good luck? Ooh.
Yeah. So
What do they believe brings good luck?
I want this to be something completely random, but I can't think of anything random enough.
I'm a little stumped myself. I want to almost say it has something to maybe do with. I don't know. No.
Maybe like clicking their heels every time they enter a new place.
Oh, that's so weird.
like Wizard of Oz.
I love it.
Like Wizards of Oz clicking their heels.
I almost
Like-
want to do something with like the construction of the park though, where like maybe if you were like walking by while people are like up working on the rafters and they drop like a bottle cap or something, that was their way of saying like, hey, we need drinks up here, or like, lunch, something to eat. Something maybe with
but
that.
how is
but I'm
that
not sure.
lucky though?
Or
I was gonna say like they've incorporated it into like a local tradition or something where it's like, hey, if you leave bottle caps out, it's good luck or something.
Well,
But
I
I'm
think
not
it's
100% on it.
it might be similar to like tradition you would normally see in New Orleans, how you would leave coins and stuff like that.
On the tombstones, right?
Yeah.
That was something along the lines of what I was thinking, but wasn't really settled because like the town's not known for the cemetery or nothing.
well, what
Well,
if
no.
it's? I guess what's more of that room or the rumor that of where the old owner disappeared? Maybe it's something about like, oh, this spot where he disappeared. If you leave something there or something like that. Like
Maybe
in
when
lieu
the
of
owner
a.
disappeared, they only left behind like a certain thing or whatever, like something simple. And now the people think, leaving that at this spot is good luck. Whatever took him won't take you.
It's kind of like the wishing well.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's his spot like? So you're thinking that there's a tunnel somewhere in town, like a half tunnel, maybe to a park.
I was gonna say maybe it's on the way there, like maybe the town's kind of cut into by like a natural, like a rock formation or something.
Okay. So this is kind of like one of those natural stone formations, tunnel, like a wind tunnel, been carved through it. And have they made a road through it, or is it a walking tunnel?
I think it's a walking tunnel. I think you got to drive around. It's really inconvenient, this rock formation.
Okay.
People are maybe not super happy.
So our initial founder of the theme park who vanished, what's his name or her
I
name?
knew I knew that was going to be a question, and I've been trying to think of it, and I have absolutely nothing.
I, for
Maybe
some
what?
reason, like it being the gal named Jane something.
Mm.
Okay, we got a first
How about-
name, Jane.
How about Sumner? Because something.
Sumner, Jane
Sum-
Sumner.
Sumner, she's the one, and she vanished at that tunnel. She went. People saw her go in the tunnel, but they never saw her come out. Is that sound reasonable?
Yep,
Yes.
and something was left behind.
Okay, what
Something
was
simple.
what was left behind? Something simple.
That was because it's all for the
A
good
scarf.
luck
Lucky bit.
superstition.
A scarf. Someone said a 50 cent. Someone said a 50-cent piece.
I did, but then so that's the thing that I thought that they were going to leave at the tunnel, which is why I was thinking of something you could carry in your pocket.
What if it was the tokens to get in, or like the tickets or whatever?
Yes, I like the token idea.
Oh yeah, perfect. Like they're originally going with a almost like a poker chip type token as an idea, like as a
Maybe
pass. And when she
it was
disappeared,
given to
all they found
everybody
was her
in town.
token.
Maybe it was like a promotional thing. They gave a token to like all the business owners in town or whatever, and people got a handful too after it was open for a short while. And
So we're like
everybody's maybe got their token. They leave it out somewhere, and they pick it back up when they come through.
yeah. Cool.
And then it's bad luck to steal somebody else's token.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Does that mean like people initial it? Like you put your initials on there?
Maybe they're numbered.
Yeah.
I'd say numbered,
Ooh.
initial, like maybe it's really personal. Maybe it's what you want to do to your token. Maybe some people have painted one side or something.
I think they might be personalized, but they also probably were numbered originally because that way you knew whose token was whose. So
Yeah.
think of it like a pass for like a park, and you didn't want to just give it to anybody, yet it was tied to you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool.
I'm just saying at this point they're probably been more personalized as they're not going to be used to be getting in and out of the park anymore.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
definitely see that.
Does that mean that we all have one, or is that select few?
I think you would have to have one if you were a local, but like
I would
if
say
you're not
so.
a local,
Yeah.
then
So
you probably don't have
I
one.
did. I think Roy grew up here. He did at least work at the tow shop at a young age. So he may have his own coin.
So here's my question: Who was here 30 years ago when Jane Sumner started opening the park? When did she disappear? She started doing the construction of the park in 30 years ago. Did she
So
disappear
30, no.
after 10 years, after 15 years? How long did she go before she disappeared?
I would say probably like the 10-year mark. Like at that point, maybe things were starting to. Maybe when she disappeared is when things started to go sour at the park.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
So after her disappearance,
And then
It
if
just-
everyone, go ahead.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
after her disappearance is when what little bits of construction that were left over that thought were going to be quick and easy suddenly turned into years-long tasks. People getting hurt, stuff
Well,
going missing.
and
suspicious things.
and she probably had a vision for it all. Like she had her hands in everything, and then without her vision, everyone was just kind of like aimless and didn't know what to do.
Oh, I love that.
I think also if it's 10 years in, that's 20 years ago. That makes if everyone's in like their early 30s, like their characters in like their early 30s, that makes you just young enough to have like overheard the gossip and like misunderstood every bit of it, but like old enough to like kind of have memories of it. And so it's this like distorted like urban legend type deal
Oh yeah,
that you definitely remember but also don't.
that's pretty cool.
You know, I was gonna say because Roy's like tops 30 some odd years old, so like she disappeared when he was like 10.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you're at that perfect age to like play telephone with the town gossip.
Yeah, old enough to remember, but too young to know the details.
Right.
Like, yeah.
You remember all the details wrong. That's
Yes.
what's basically going on.
Just right enough to be kind of accurate, but wrong enough to just throw it way out of whack.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, and Tyrell, want to draw a card? I think you're the last one.
All right, let's see. Card. I fetched that up.
I was gonna say once you click it, you gotta drag it down.
All right. Our location has a valuable resource. What is it? How does it help us? Let's see.
Maybe like a crystal in that weird stone cavern that like has some sort of psychic
I was
ghosty thing.
thinking more like a nearby river or something like that. Like it would have hidden crystals. How does it help? Just honestly, it doesn't really have to do anything. Just the fact that it's rare is like it definitely brings in money at the very least. But maybe some people think that it brings a connection to stuff beyond. Is not enough to confirm or deny that theory, but it's definitely a leading one. And
So how's that go with the town doesn't like the supernatural stuff being around?
because it's an unknown, so people are trying to be well.
Oh, what if that rock formation has a bunch of that crystal, and then when they like dug the tunnel through, that's when a lot of the stuff started happening. So they like stopped digging, and then that's like, oh, that's the cause of all the problem, all the problems.
Like happening along like when everything else was happening, that happened as well. So like things are kind of coalescing into each other to cause this one big paranormal event.
Cool. Can we change it from a river to maybe like an artesian well? That when they were digging that up,
That works.
and it kind of it bubbled up, and the crystals kind of formed around it, and maybe they're bottling the water as like special healing water from Oasis Valley, and it's it's basically just water, but they're treating it as something different.
I like the idea of Oasis Valley water.
That's
Like
a good
that
idea.
sounds like a brand name.
So, okay, cool. All right, so go back to our group question. How did you guys first meet, and what went really well?
So I know that I was already floating the idea that at one point I had worked for Amaya before working for Mr. Knox here. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Go ahead.
I like the idea of you working for him and then us coming in on a job. I know we flirted with that one too, but like when he was hiring his security team, he like overhired, and then you ended up staying.
So originally he hired all three of us for something,
Right.
and then realized overkill. We're keeping Mr. Taylor on the payroll.
Or like
We'll be happy to
whatever
work
the
with you two in the
original
future. Yeah.
Yeah, like whatever the original job was over, and he was like, I'm still gonna keep one of you guys just in case something goes weird again.
So what was that job?
That's a good question.
So what kind of
security detail.
security work does Mr. Knox dabble in? Is it purely commercial, residential?
It's like a little bit of both. So I envision it as both, setting up people's like house security, so putting up cameras or fences or whatever they have, but then also from a like white hat perspective, like you're like, oh, I want to test my security system. You try and break into this place or these types of activities, and like I'm hired, somewhat dubious people that can break into something, but it's like all above the board.
Like
I may or may
maybe-
not have a pry bar and climbing gear.
Would you also be like a forensics team that goes in there to see like, oh, what happened with our security? Why did it fail?
Yeah, and then like help them improve it. Like these are all your points of failure that my team found.
So
And maybe
I have an idea of what that first security job might have been.
Are
We
you
may have all
thinking-
met
Are you?
and had our mutual hateful moment with Mr. Chester.
Yeah, I was
hired
gonna say, are
us
you
to set
thinking
up
that?
security, and we realized, no, we don't want to set up security for you.
Mhm.
we didn't disclose all of the security risks. We left like one back door. Like we're gonna need this.
It's literally just a key to the back door.
Like the idea of you just having the master key.
Roy has pocketed that. No, that would be up to the boss.
So what type of security job were you doing for him?
Were we testing it or setting it up?
I would say testing it because he's probably had a lot of like break-in issues, especially if everyone like hates the idea of the park going up and the kids keep breaking in to have parties.
So he hired you guys to block off the area for Halloween so they couldn't go in and do the party.
So we ran security for Halloween before. Oh man.
And then
That puts
and then
Now, did
realized
we let the party happen is the better question. Like,
I
did
think
we go,
if-
whoops?
What went well? I think the job went well, and we bonded over mutual. I think we did what we were supposed to, because we yet to truly know Mr. Chesterfield, or not Chesterfield. It was Chester
We call him that lovingly.
Chesterfield,
Mr. the Third.
yeah, it's Bennington.
Mr. the Third,
Yeah,
Bennington.
Chester Bennington.
Everyone always has to chime in. The third. Every time we say his name.
Ugh.
So you're doing
So
you're doing the job for Chester Bennington. It went well, but he gave
The
you
house was protected. The
he-
car was not.
he gave you, but you got a bad vibe from him about something, and you're not quite sure what the vibe is, but Duncan already had some bad experiences. That's why he was bringing in extra security on the job, and something just felt wrong on this one. That's why he backed away. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
We almost never see him in the daytime, so that was a vibe.
Stop it.
And I think even just like being locals and us policing that thing on Halloween, like that gave us all the icks. Like we are now the man and we're stopping people's fun because
Yeah.
some weird dude that just showed up.
We just like lost points with the local group.
Okay.
We walk into a bar and we don't get any more highs or hellos.
Now, did we let the kids have the party or did we lock it up completely? Like that's still my question. Like did we
I think-
accidentally leave the door open?
Yeah. Well, you could have decided you weren't going to do it. Yeah.
Roy's torn because he would absolutely do the job right even after he's decided he didn't like this guy because he doesn't have any like concrete proof he's done anything terrible.
Well, boss man, how good are your ethics?
I mean, there's four of us. We all weren't watching the same places. I can't stop what you did on the other side of the park.
That is also true.
And maybe that's what it is, because I feel like at the end of the day, I need to make sure that I get my payday so you guys get paid. But I could see
That might be when
turning.
they're not on the payroll. Maybe their side, they're like, "Oh, this is harmless. Let the kids have
So-
fun," and you had to cut them from the payroll afterwards to save face.
So considering my character's background, I would think he would be the most likely person to accidentally let the kids through. Because like he always tries to like look out for like the youth of the
Yeah.
of the town.
Or you suggested that they use a different area of the park. Oh yeah, we have new security over here, but there's no security over on this side.
Right.
I wanted to accidentally let the kids through, but I rolled a d20 and it didn't agree with me.
Let the dice decide for you.
Yes.
Whenever I do that, I'd roll the dice not to actually make the decision, but whatever I'm like, man, I hope it comes up that's it. I go with that.
See, I only do it when I'm like, I want to do something, but I'm not sure if my character would do it, and then I'll roll and I'm going like, okay, the dice will decide whether or not the character did it.
Hey.
Because I want to let the kids in, but I know that she like also is very like about her business. So I was like, if I get over this number, then she had a soft moment, and I was like, not today.
There was a moment of just like, I was young once.
Yes.
And somebody else told me no, so I'm telling you no. Get out.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna draw the next group card.
All right.
Okay. And this card is upside down. It says our group is trying to keep our location from changing. What is changing, and why do we want it to stay the same? This is going to be a nice one for you. I think this is going to be a really good one for you guys at the end. But we're going to go back to our relationships. Each of you have one more relationship to pick up. So we're going to go back in kind of reverse order. So we'll go with Amaya first. You can go ahead and pick your relationship.
Okay. So I know we talked about this a little bit, but I don't think we ever confirmed it. So I wanted to do Roy, and it's like you think you can learn a thing or two from Roy. Do you ask them for guidance? So I feel like they have very opposing ways that they would go about things, but they have very similar like get the job done energy. And so she's just like, I wouldn't have done it like that. And she looks for that kind of balance in it.
Like, so I know, yeah. Was I think because I was going to pick one that you convinced my character to try something risky, and what was it? Because like it sounded more and more that Roy is very by the books. Like he's like a notch or two away from like boot camp sometimes. So I'm curious as to what Amaya convinced him to do.
Cool. So you went the other side of it. You're the stabilizing force in Amaya's life, but in her life, she is the chaos force.
This was the give and take. This was the we're not gonna see eye to eye, but we can try real quick.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll do it your way. You do it mine.
So what risky thing do you convince him to do?
That's a good question. I want it to be something just as simple as like she convinced him to like bet like poker chips or something. Like an obscene amount of money on black or something, and he actually won.
And that's where it leaves reality, because I do not gamble because I have terrible luck when it comes to numbers. Like, no. I think I played like $100 on a slot machine once, lost all of it in less than like 20 minutes, and went, I'm never gambling again.
Yeah. Aww. But then Amaya comes over.
I had the $100 to spare, but it was a good trial run.
But Amaya, you're at a craps table or a roulette wheel, and she convinces you to put some money down on it that you wouldn't. You were going, no, I'm not going to do this, but she convinced you to do it, and it came out good for you. You won the pot or whatever it is going to be.
I will accept that. That's why I've got my nice smartphone to keep in touch with the boss.
Cool. And
that's where I got that money.
So Tyrell, what about you? What's your relationship?
I went with Tyrell knows that Duncan will protect our group no matter the costs, considering his know-how, his resources, and I'm assuming he has things generally well put together in terms of like sense, or he does at least. So he was like, this is not necessarily my stomping grounds, but like he seems like he got everything put together. So yeah, why not?
That actually kind of goes together with the one that my connection I was thinking for you as well was that we like not animosity but like we had the not a strain but like a weird there and I wanted to impress you and I do like with that youth group that you work with I was thinking like I take them all out once a year for like this big camping trip. I'm like an avid camper and like I did it to impress you the first year and like you were really appreciated like whether you know your thoughts on me was more because I was helping the kids and I do it every year is what I was thinking.
Yeah, like hearing that, oh, it's just some corporate guy just trying to get in cool with the kids. How you do, fellow youths? But like, no, he actually he's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, like you know, teaching them like how to start a fire with like flint and steel, and you know, camping 101.
And no one turned up missing. So
teach them all the basic important things: how to start a fire, how to clean a weapon, how to hotwire a car.
Wait, was that supposed to be in the scout training? I missed that day.
You don't have that badge?
No.
It was the second last
Grand
one.
Theft Auto
before.
badge.
Cool. All right.
No, Mom, it's just a game.
Yeah. And you notice as we go through this, the rounds go a lot quicker too, because we've made it all the way through the third round. That's all the relationships for everybody. And we're back to our group card, which is our group is trying to keep our location from changing. What is changing? And
You missed me. I got one more relationship to build.
okay, I thought you picked a relationship with Amaya. So sorry, my bad.
Yeah, we did the gambling thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. Okay, so I thought it went like she picked somebody, Tyrell picked somebody, I picked somebody else, but we're good. Never mind.
Yep. Just whatever.
Yeah.
If you want another one, you're more than welcome to pick one, though.
I do
We're all
have
friends
a
here.
point that I do want to make real quick.
Okay.
Tyrell and I went the opposite sides of the combat. You hit very, very hard. I don't hit very hard, but I can take a punch.
A sword and shield.
I'm kind of curious. So, did your character grow up in the area?
Yeah.
So, maybe you and I did some kind of like contact sport together, whether that's like football or wrestling or something. There might be just a mild rivalry there.
Oh no, not rivalries.
I like that.
Just a little need to one up the other every now and again in a fight. What is it? Like Legolas and Gimli keeping count?
Yes, I was just thinking that. That still only counts as one.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we got that settled then.
So, group question. You're trying to keep the location from changing. What is changing, and why do you want it to stay the same?
Well, if that I didn't cuss, I was just bound to. That Bennington guy wouldn't be trying to buy up our theme park. Things would be just fine.
He doesn't even go here. He just moved in last week.
I was gonna say he was like I said, he was trying to maybe expand the park. So on top of that, he is maybe trying to buy up businesses or get people to leave town. Maybe he's playing up on like a lot of the rumors and stuff.
So it's not just that he's trying to open the park up, but he's trying to take over town. He's trying to take over businesses in town and kind of maybe drive out some long-standing businesses.
Yeah.
Or like force them kind of under his thumbs, like, hey, you won't have your business, but you can work for me as, manager at the fast food court at my place.
Oh, that works.
It's like either the best or worst game of Monopoly.
Oh.
He's on the winning side right now. He's got 3/4 of the properties bought up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, let me get rid of that one, and we'll pick one more for you guys. And it is going to be... All right. We were involved in a mystery that was never solved. What happened, and why wasn't it solved? So we're going to leave that one off to think about. And I'm going to have you guys draw a location card. So, scary haunted house card.
Okay.
Who wants to go first?
Roy, go ahead and go first.
Alrighty. What do we have here?
Oh, the way it draws changed. Oh, that's interesting.
Our location is occasionally participates in a competitive event. What is that event? Rivalry coming back already, bud.
Yep. Hey.
Like you knew what card was coming.
Oh, what is the competitive event in town? It's got to be something physical for him and I.
I like the idea of y'all like being on the football team.
Like, where if we're like on like opposing schools?
There's like 2 schools in town.
Yeah.
On
the
like
opposite
either sides of the formation.
Cool. Okay,
we've got Rose Valley High, or what is it?
we have Desert Road Rose High. Who went to Desert Rose High?
Which one of us feels fancier?
I mean, graceful. So
Tyrell's from Desert Rose High, and then Roy. What high school did you go to?
Let's see.
That one should probably be like the Oasis. It's Oasis Valley, right?
Yes, Oasis Valley.
I'm good with Oasis Valley High. It is. Maybe that's like the public school, and he's maybe not quite a private school, but it's as close as you can get without
Like
it
a
being
charter
private
school?
Yeah, over Rose Valley or Desert Rose. I don't know why I
Desert
want
Rose.
to call it Rose Valley.
So I would like to think the first thing I ever said to him was like, "Hey, I haven't introduced myself. Last name L, first name hold this."
No, I hate it so much.
Uh,
I hate it so much.
Roy was absolutely a lineman and just spent the entire game probably disobeying he probably ended up on the bench for the second half of the game. Ignored whoever was in front of him and was finding Tyrell.
You're not even covering your man. I am.
Okay, cool.
You want me to take this L? Eat turf, bud.
All right, so the competitive event is like the high school football game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I would
Gotta be
say
like
maybe there's even like a
homecoming.
lead up, like maybe. Trying to think like maybe like the week before, like the field's all set and like maybe people are out there doing like their own personal games, shirts and skins just for fun.
Oh no.
They kind of make a week out of it, some sort of festival.
Yeah, maybe it's during close to the summers you can get before school closes. It's all
Yeah.
nice.
Like lead up to homecoming, they have like all the different like alumni like through the ages like that week or something.
Oh, what if
that'd
it's
be
the
fun.
yeah, like you were saying, the alumni, but it's the football players.
Yeah.
And it starts, the week with the oldest group, and then it goes younger and younger and younger till it's the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I also would be just terrified to see like the medical assistance needed for the 50-year-old.
Right.
What side am I on again?
Oh no.
Dude.
You know what I love though? The idea of like the grandma cheerleaders, like back in their high school uniforms.
Oh no, there's some grandson out there. It's like, Grandma, no.
Your grandma used to be hot.
No,
I used to be quite a dish. It's like some 75-year-old woman trying to do a high kick again.
I think it's really nice though. It brings the high school vibe to the whole town for like a week.
Yes, I love that.
Very cool.
I love the idea of like very spry grandma.
And it also gives Tyrell and I an excuse to hit the field and each other.
Every year to perpetuity.
Yes. That's a really good. That's a nice tie-in. All right. And Duncan, go ahead and draw a card.
Location card, right?
Location card, yes.
Our location has been banned from a prestigious event. What is it and why were we banned?
I think I know where this is going.
I was like laughing right away.
What did
I
we
have
get
no idea where
banned
it's
from?
going.
I want to
No.
know.
we got banned from the spring.
No, it's the whole town isn't allowed to participate.
I know. I was trying to think of like,
What if there was
imagine
like
if it was that.
what if there was a big high school football thing in Denver, and then after we got booted from that, we started our thing over in the town?
That sounds fun.
I like that.
There's kind of like a inter-county football league that you guys aren't allowed to play on anymore. That your town is not allowed to play on.
Yeah, they're like, you know what?
Absolutely.
We're gonna do our own thing, and it's gonna be better.
Yes.
Now, why did we get banned? What did we do? Are
Uh,
Tyrell and I to blame?
I want to blame you just because you brought it up now. I feel like you should take the blame.
Yeah, I feel like there has to be
Maybe
some prank
I
that was
love-
run.
I love a good domino effect. That's all I'll say.
Did we start like a 3-4 team brawl in the locker rooms or something?
Yeah.
I was gonna say you stole the wrong mascot, and it like started this cascade of mascot stealing.
Yeah, I think like a
think
brawl probably wouldn't do it, but like a good prank gone wrong could get you banned.
Mhm.
I think both of like maybe him and I went to target each other's schools and both missed the target. Both got a different school.
Sounds
Spectacular.
What did I do and to what school?
Like, wait, is
I
their
did something to their
mascot the
bus.
hawk or the eagle? I can't
No,
remember.
I did something to their school bus.
And maybe that event was in Denver, and you like did something to like the actual like Denver mascot.
After we stole it, it got out, and it's just an issue around the Denver area now.
Oh, I like that idea.
Like it was some type of like snake,
Release the gecko.
spider, whatever, and now
Yeah.
they're just all over the place.
Can I say spider? I like spider.
A school with a spider mascot, even better.
The spiders got into the crystal neighborhood.
Who has an invasive spider as their mascot?
I don't know. It just sounds horrible.
Yo,
You know-
sounded.
It's their fault. They brought it in here. What did they think was gonna happen?
It sounded like it made sense, and it went really wrong really fast.
Invasive spider team. I like that.
Like, I got the spider. What spider? The mascot. They don't have a spider for a Who had the spider for a mascot? Then
So-
whose spider is this?
Is this like a tarantula-sized spider?
Yeah.
I think it is. It's
It has to be.
sized. It's hairy. Maybe. Oh god, what if it was like a?
What are those giant desert the
The
camel
camel
spider?
spiders.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
But we
Something
can
like-
never, like, we have all these spiders, and like this, the one that either one of us took was very distinct, but we could never find that spider.
Dude, it escaped, and we're technically we're
What's the
ecological
worst that
terrorists.
can happen?
Yeah. Yeah. You took a spider. You give him a spider back. It wasn't the spider you took. Because you didn't know what happened. You don't know what happened to the spider,
yeah.
and no one noticed it until these spiders started popping up everywhere.
Ugh.
I love the idea of them like painting a spider with a tiny brush. It's like no one will notice.
You think rattle cans work on tarantulas?
All right. So,
Oh man!
Ugh.
so Tyrell, we want to draw a card?
All right, let's see.
Wait, did I get skipped?
No, not yet.
Oh,
You're next.
I'm just going in random order.
Okay.
You guys got a lot upside down cards.
you idolize
look.
someone in our location. Who is it, and how are they inspirational?
Who's your hero?
It could be our
Could it be the gal that owns the one occult store in town?
yeah.
Or the guy who manages the youth center?
Or one of the founders or something?
I vote Knox. I think we all just love Knox.
I would say the founder of the youth center, because again, like, children are prone to get into some mischief, as he knows personally, and having just a resource that's like a well respected neutral ground for the often overlooked
Yeah.
is something that he can respect and admire.
In my head, I'm already thinking that Tyrell got like community service, and that's how I got hooked in with the youth center.
You got
I
community
was-
service for the spider incident.
Yeah, I didn't want to be here originally, but then like I kind of fell in love with it, so now it's like my thing.
So what's the founder of the youth center? What's his name? And is he still alive?
Maybe I'm thinking maybe his name is Luke. and I want to say he's still alive, but he's definitely up there in his years. So,
Like late 70s.
yeah.
Okay. And does Luke have a last name?
I'm fighting everything in me to not say Cage. Will Luke
Sandrose?
Box,
yeah, sure.
crate,
Yeah.
prison.
Luke Box.
No.
How about great?
Great.
Yeah, because like Cage and then great and then like.
Mr. Great.
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah, but
Great.
also like Mr. Great. Yes. I feel like we're having opposite reactions to this sentence, and I feel like you're on the wrong side of this coin.
I do and don't like Mr. Great. It feels a little on the nose for being the inspirational guy of town.
That's true.
Luke Carter.
Luke Carter. There you go. All right. And I think we're down to just one more card, so that's going to be Maya. You want to go ahead and draw a card?
Yay. Wait, did I do it?
Drag it.
I was so excited.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Okay.
Another upside down card.
Yeah. Like every card was upside down this time.
Okay. Our location was generous with someone, but they took advantage of us. What happened? I like the idea of like the town selling the amusement park really cheap on the promise that he would like try and fulfill the original design. And he was just like, instead of that, I'm going to do this.
So are you going back to Bennington?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is he trying to change the type of park, maybe?
I think he's trying to make it maybe like a mega franchise instead of like this local thing that you can only find here.
Yeah.
He's just like trying to like cheapen and monetize the experience as much as possible.
Yeah.
Right.
You got animatronic bears and there's a bell that rings and sings a song.
Okay, cool. We're good with that one?
Yes.
All right. So let's look at our group question. You were involved in a mystery that was never solved. What happened and why wasn't it solved?
Ooh.
You never did find that spider.
This is a group. This is something the entire group was involved with, not just the two random
meatheads.
The other one that could be is for the disappearance of Jane.
That was like when I was 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think we're old enough.
No, but 10-year-olds like we're gonna solve this. We're gonna be the whatever.
You were like 10-year-old Scooby Doos.
Yeah.
Not efficient.
So wait. So we're gonna go back to something here. So you guys knew each other in school. You ended up working together, but you ended up knowing each other in school because you were kind of all involved in this like crazy hunt to find out what happened.
I mean, I'm down for that.
I wanted to move to town later, so that one doesn't work for me because I wanted her to be newer to the area. But I am okay with being left out of this plot point if that's fine with the rest of you guys. Like I think that this is very cute and I encourage this nonsense, but I want her to be newer to town.
I do love like just the three like not even teenage boys like sneaking past the police tape to go like look in the tunnel. You know, maybe we were like we see like the token there. I think we might. Oh God, will we be smart enough to not tamper with evidence?
Of course not. You're 10.
Yeah, no.
Oh my God, did we like ruin this investigation? We unleashed invasive spiders.
Oh my God.
Investigation.
We are the worst heroes.
Societal menaces.
You guys aren't heroes. You're just making up for all of the things you did before puberty.
This is our community service.
This is your redemption arc.
So something happened when you got stuck onto the side of the investigation, and something happened, and you feel that might have been why they were never able to figure out what happened to her.
Maybe
I would like
of the reason for like leave your token there and then come back and get it. Like maybe we snuck in, saw the token, went and like messed with it, and heard somebody coming and took off with the token, and had to bring it back like the next morning or later that night. And everybody's like, it disappeared and came back. Weird.
I like that idea. Like you started an urban legend, and you also like made a good luck thing.
If the other two are game with that idea. I don't know if Mr. Knox likes the idea of breaking into security companies before he's started his own.
It will ruin my business before it even starts.
Well, and maybe that's just like kind of where like I feel like maybe I feel guilt, and that's why I like, oh, had we not been able to get there, like
somebody's been keeping a better eye on this.
It might have even been like more his fault, hence why he's trying so hard to impress Tyrell. Because like, I don't know, last time I left things up to you, we kind of like mess everything up, and then he showed that he had.
Are you the one that walked off with the token, bud?
Actually,
Roy's impulsive enough. He will have taken it if you don't think you would have.
Yeah. I'm thinking, yeah, he might have taken it.
You guys all okay with that?
Duncan walked off with the token.
Yeah, I'm okay with that, and I feel like I had immense guilt.
And you snuck it back the next day, which is kind of what started the legend. Is that like it was gone and then it came back.
So you leave your token out at night so you don't get taken, and you grab your token again in the morning.
I like this idea.
You're going there. Cool. All right, I'm gonna close that one down. All right, so we got 4 group things. We've got 4 relationships. We've got 4 locations that came out of this. We'll summarize those in a little bit. Hey, again, thanks for watching. I'll add a link to the Decuma card system in the notes below. Now that session 0 is done, we're going to jump right into our first mystery. So we'll see you soon.